Well, hello. uh, this thing with Obama is just out of hand. The man is out of hand. Honestly, with this thing with releasing 5 prisoners from Gitmo, leaders. They're not just prisoners, they were leaders. Some has even said the worst of the worst. For a young man that had been captured by them and was captured for 5 years. And of course, Obama says we were concerned about his health. Excuse me? Excuse me? When he gets here, he should be handcuffed and put under arrest and taken to the military prison, in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and tried for treason. He should be. Because he left his post. Whenever you leave your post, that's automatically treason, because you're opening up for the enemy. And 6 other young men, families, that suffered loss because of him, because they were out looking for him, and they got killed. This is a bad, bad thing that Obama did. And I was in town today and met a couple of military people. I won't tell you what branch of service they are in, and I won't tell you their names because I don't want no repercussion against them. But they're angry and upset because they know what this young man did. When he left his post, and started walking, leaving his gun behind. So that tells me he meant to be captured. He left his gun behind because he wasn't going to fight him. He was going to go with them peacefully. That's the only time a soldier will leave their gun behind, because they're not intended on fighting, period. And he already said that he was ashamed to be American. He said that to his mom and dad in an email. And he was the only prisoner, POW, in Afghanistan. The only one. Do you know how many we still have in Vietnam that's POWs lost? You know, Vietnam has been over with for a long, long, long time now. And we still have POWs over in Vietnam. What about their health? What about their welfare? Now, there's a group that's trying to get all the POWs back. They really are. Dead or alive. They're trying. Excuse me. I ate something and went crosswise. So this one man that's been held captive for 5 years in Afghanistan is far more important than all those men that are still POWs in Vietnam. What is their conditions? How are they being treated still yet? I'm telling you, this is wrong. No president traded anything to get any of them released. No, they didn't. Because, excuse me, because the president does not have the constitutional right to do this. He broke the Constitution. Just like Reagan did when he traded for the hostages over in Iran. Yeah. See, this is all one-sided. He's trying to make a political statement that gets him brownie points or something. But I'm telling you, these two young men that I talked to are disgusted with the president. Even though he is their commander-in-chief, they have no respect. Because he does not uphold the uniformity of the military service and their code. When he did this, he didn't hold it up. You never leave your post. When you're assigned a post, you never leave your post for any reason. And then you don't lay your gun down and go walking dilly-dally down the road to be captured. There are some of the men in his platoon is stepping forth and telling stuff and saying he needs to be tried for treason. Now, I know we have a policy of no man left behind, but we also have a policy that we do not negotiate with the terrorist. And I guarantee you that these lies that they're telling that, Obama didn't negotiate with terrorists. Well, how in the world did he go and figure out they wanted these 5 particular men traded for this one man? That left his post. What is he a mind reader? Did he get a mental telepathy thing, brain saying, "Oh, President Obama, oh, if you let these 5 men loose, name them all, we'll let the young man go"? No, that's not the way it happened. He didn't have a nightmare. He didn't have a dream. He didn't have a vision. He didn't hear voices in his head. There was a negotiation going on. They specifically wanted these 5 particular men loose to let the young man loose. And Obama can lie all he wants, because he lies to America all the time. All the time. His cohort below him, like Susan Rice and all of those other cohorts, lie like a dog instead of telling the truth. The military people that's serving is upset about this. I mean, they're very upset about this. That young man should have never been in consideration even doing this, because he broke the law. He committed treason. And how do we know how much he did tell the Taliban? He spent 5 years with them. Oh, I believe he spilled his guts left and right. In my point of view, they should take this young man with President Obama. They need to impeach President Obama, and they need to try him for treason also, because those 5 leaders of Al-Qaeda will come back to haunt us. And every person that's going to be killed at their hand is on Obama's. Their blood is on Obama's hand for letting these people go. And they can lie to you and say, oh, well, you know, they weren't so bad. Yes, they were bad. They were leaders. They weren't just the under guys. They were leaders. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Do you understand what President Obama is doing to this country? Do you really understand? Can you fathom what he's doing to this country? Oh, I know the mother is happy that he's coming home. Probably the daddy. Probably the whole darn town. I'm glad I don't live in that town, because I wouldn't join him. I would boo him when I seen him around, because he betrayed our country. He did. And Obama betrayed our country by letting these 5 terrorists loose for this one man, this one young man. You know what? The pictures, I mean, don't look like he's so sick or in bad shape. But I know that there are men over in Vietnam still being held, and they were never treated as good as this man was by the Taliban. He looked too good, too healthy, too healthy. The POWs that come back that were in Vietnam don't look that healthy. They didn't get fed that well. They weren't treated that well. They would be put in cages and dipped in water. Up and down, up and down. Torture, torture, torture in Vietnam. No, no, this is wrong. And one of the military guys says, we heard that Obama was planning on making a military state law here in the United States and postponing the election for the president so he could be the president again. And I've read reports where the president was trying to get the law changed where he could run for another term. You know, people, if he did that and you were so stupid and ignorant enough to vote this man back in office, then you deserve what you will get with him. He's not a nice man. In the long run, people should listen to every word he said the first time around and the second time around. And if you'd really listened, you wouldn't have voted him. But you were so excited. The first black man, the first black president. Oh my, oh how wonderful, glorious it is. I knew he wasn't the right person from the get-go. And I was sorry that he was even running for president. I knew he'd make the black man a bad name, because he's dragging our country down to the pits of hell. He is. Taking away the one man, one woman marriage, the true godly marriage, encouraging abortion, saying planhood, whatever they are, was great, and they're not. Everything that is evil and against God's laws, he just rejoices in. It's the thing to do. We got to do it. We got to make laws say it's okay. No. And then when it comes to Israel, it's like, oh yeah, we'll protect Israel, but Israel should do this and Israel should do that. He is making condemnation right on our own country. And some of the judgments that's going to be coming up on our country is just because of what Obama's doing. And our military is losing faith in him because he's commander-in-chief. And if you lose faith in the leader, then why would you want to do what that leader wants you to do? I'm telling you, an uprising is going to happen because of this mess from the military. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There's going to be an uprising because of him. We need to pray, people, because times it's going to get hard. There is things that's going to be happening in this country that's going to scare you half to death. And if you don't know where you stand in Jesus Christ, then you will fall. And you'll believe any lie any of these government officials will tell you, and you'll go down with them. You know, our government did not die for us. Our government does not really protect us for our best benefit. They just want to tell you what to do and what not to do. And they're willing to give you little loose chains on the side. You know, free food, free this, free that. Nanny, nanny, nanny state. To keep you in line. This president has dishonored our military, disrespected the vets, and just totally went overboard with this man that was held in Afghanistan. I wouldn't have made the deal. He'd still be over there with the Afghanistanis. If they wanted these men loose, I'd have said, well, maybe you just need to keep him a little longer. He deserted anyway. If we bring him back, more than likely, we're going to have to try him for treason. And he's going to be put to death. So maybe he needs to stay over there with you guys. You all take care of him. He deserted our military. What do you think he'd do to yours? If he had a chance, he'd desert you too. Tell a bunch of lies. I have no respect for this young man. He deserted. He deserted. Turned himself over to the enemy. And lived with him for 5 years. And then the president wants to get him free? No. If you desert, then you need to suffer the consequences. It's all on you. If you desert, it's on you. Suffer the consequences. Because you're not get to come home. You're not going to see mommy and daddy. And if you do come home, we're going to try you for treason for leaving your post. Deserting. You're going to pay a consequence. Because if we don't do that, anytime a man or a woman decides, oh, I don't like what I'm doing, I don't want to be over here, I'll just desert, because the military they didn't do nothing to this man, and he lived with the enemy for 5 years. I can desert too, and they can't do nothing to me. I truly believe there's going to be an uprising, especially if they bring him back and give him a medal of honor of any kind. He don't deserve nothing, zero, zilch. He needs to be tried. He needs to be dishonorable discharged, and he needs to be tried for treason. That's what they would do to any other person. If you deserted, I had an ex-brother-in-law that deserted when he was the Army, because he didn't want to be sent to Vietnam. And that was back when they enlisted the men. They didn't volunteer. This young man, if he hated America so much, why did he volunteer to go in the Army? Because they're not enlisted anymore. They don't draw the number and send you a letter and tell you you have to report. But my ex-brother-in-law had to report. And when they was getting ready to send him overseas, he deserted. Well, they caught him. They took him down. He went before a judge. And they were going to ship him overseas anyway. And the night that he's supposed to leave overseas, he jumps on an airplane. Mommy and Daddy sends him the money. He gets on an airplane and comes back to Arkansas. This time when he deserted, he ended up in Fort Leavenworth, which is where the penitentiary for them at. And he had to serve at least 6 months and get a dishonorable discharge because of desertion. Now this man deserted, and now he's not getting anything done to him. Nothing. He's not getting reprimand. He's being brought home and glorified and a hero. No, he's not a hero. Heroes don't desert. Heroes stands and fights, even unto death. That's what heroes do. Heroes don't run and hide. They do not desert. And that's what this young man did. He needs to be tried. I'm telling you people, a voice needs to go up very loud and very clear to Obama. We will not stand for this. You turn 5 dangerous people loose for him, and you're bringing him back and you're going to honor him? No! Try him. Make an example of him to anyone else that thinks they could pull this stunt. And if those 5 come back on America and people get killed because of this, the blood is going to be on that young man's shoulders and upon Obama. And it will come to a point at that time, we may have a war here in the United States, not from foreigners, but from the people of the United States against Obama because of his ignorance in doing this. Because in doing this, he's disrespected every military man in the service, no matter what branch they're in. He's dishonored every veteran that served and did the honorable thing and did not desert and served for their country. You, Obama, have disrespected the military. How dare you? How dare you? Because we do not negotiate with terrorists. And this whole thing was a farce. I think there's more behind this than we know. I think Obama more than negotiated. There was plans made that we don't know nothing about, because you remember, Obama's a Muslim. I think there's something more going on. Way more. That's my rant for today. Bless you all. Pray for America. And pray for yourselves and your families, because something's coming. Bless you.